Hey everyone, and welcome to Sociology of Sexualities. It's Sexualities and Social Issues, I believe, is the number, and it's Sociology/WGS 205. So we are going to examine essentially how sociology specifically looks at sexuality throughout our society and how that particular identity interacts and interplays with different institutions, different societal conflicts. And we're going to kind of do that in a very sociological way. My name is Professor Bowen. Also call me Annie. I have an MA in sociology with a particular emphasis on gender, sexualities, feminist theory, and social inequality. I particularly examine trauma and how trauma impacts academic accessibility and pedagogical practices surrounding accessibility. The textbook, we're going to go over your syllabus today. So the textbook for this class is Sociology of Sexualities. I will warn you that as we go through here and kind of go through some of the definitions, I'm going to add some little tidbits, some asterisks, hey, when you're using these terms, kind of be mindful of these kinds of things, because I think language is incredibly important and contextual. And some of the terms that we use in academia in a particular way, when you use them in society in those particular ways, they don't necessarily translate effectively and or can have some derogatory meanings to certain sectors or certain populations within our society. And so really making sure that we are understanding that our academic terms and how we use them is impactful in the world. And so we're going to really have some conversations about language as we move through it. But that is the textbook. This class is a 3-credit class. The course description is the same as the one when you signed up for the class. You're going to have your general education goals and your goals specific to this class listed in there. So touch base with those. You have all your things that are in every other syllabus that you got this semester, your attendance policies, your university policies. The updated COVID policies are in here, so please take a gander at that as well. You're going to have helpful resources. You're going to have all your academic resources in the syllabus as well. But I also would like to draw your attention to the fact that within your projects folder, I believe, or it might even be this folder that you're in right now, there is an EKU Students Resources page. And that is a document that I have created that has every kind of academic, mental health, actual physical health, accessibility, any kind of group orientation or group movement things that you would like to be a part of, anything similar to that. All of those resources are going to be handy and they're all in that document. So make sure you print that out, just kind of have it handy. You never know when somebody that you're around may need it or you may need it, because there is a plethora of good resources in that. Technology requirements. This is an online class. It's asynchronous, so you won't have to log in at a particular time, but you do need to log in. Almost everything we do will be on Blackboard, and so if you're never in Blackboard, that's going to present some problems with being able to complete the course. You're also going to have Flipgrid as a way in which in a program to use during your discussion board post. So instead of writing out these things, we're going to talk through them. Feel free to write them if you are subconscious about that. Write them out first and just read them. That is perfectly acceptable too. If you have any issues with accessibility or things of that nature in terms of being recorded, please contact me. We can kind of talk through other alternative options for those assignments. But the Flipgrid itself is a super easy thing to use. You can get it on your phone, and I will have those connections so that they automatically submit into there, and fingers crossed, as long as technology works correctly, right? And so that is the only other piece of technology you might be using. For your assignments and all your late assignments and all of those things, all of those guidelines are in here. I'm going to draw attention to particularly one thing about me. I cannot accommodate what I do not know exists. So if you have something coming up, or you have a lot of things going on in your life, or you particularly have an illness or a sick kiddo, or someone you're talking, or someone you take care of is not doing well, or any other life extenuating circumstances, emergency at work, emergency with yourself, anything, whatever it is, if it keeps you from being able to accomplish your work, I need you to talk to me. I need you to communicate. And that doesn't mean you have to disclose everything about your life, but I do need to know that something's going on so that we can kind of accommodate and figure out how to keep you on track and keep you moving through the course. Again, we can talk through some alternatives, or some, depending on the situation, how we can best accommodate you, but I need to know. We're going to go over some of these assignment types and really what is going to happen through the course. And then I'm going to direct you to a couple of key places in the Blackboard page so that you kind of know where you need to go to find things. Your course is going to be made up of 1,000 points. 40% of that is this research project presentation situation that we're going to do. Now, don't panic, because this isn't like, hey, you turn in one paper at the end of the semester and that's where your 400 points are going to be. That's not how this works. These points are going to be divvied out under a number of assignments that are all part of this project throughout the course of the semester. So to make sure that we don't backload that semester as much. And this project is kind of unique in the sense that it's not just a paper, but you have multiple options. And to kind of explore that further, there is a module called Projects, and it will have all the different things in it. It has a lecture explaining the different options you have. It has a lecture explaining all the different assignments that come with it, and links to everything you could possibly need. And that's all in the project folder. So that is a folder you're probably going to be touching base with multiple times over the semester. But if you have questions, please feel free to ask, or if you have an option or an idea for this project that wasn't one of the options, just come to me, come talk through it with me, and we might be able to figure out a way for you to do that option. The module work is really just touching base with making sure you're reading, making sure that you're following up with the lectures, making sure that you're on track with doing the assignments as we roll through the semester. The key concept quizzes are just as they seem. They're going to be these quizzes that come through every module, and they're just going to be kind of short, to the point, like, hey, I want to know that you're catching those key concepts, you're catching those key terms. A lot of those are going to come from the pre-made questions that came with the book. However, you're going to see some asterisks and probably some modifications that I've made to make sure that we're queuing in on maybe some of those things that we want to critique or we want to modify a little bit, okay, from the actual text itself. The discussion boards on Flipgrid are worth 25%, and really that's going to be making that initial video that's to the prompt that's given. I will give that prompt and then likely make some kind of video myself, kind of starting off the trend. And then we will have you do yours, and then the following week you'll respond to someone's. And really, I want to make sure that those responses aren't just like, hey, I like what you said. It's more like, hey, okay, so in this section, I kind of got this out of this. What do you think? Or, hey, okay, so this is what you said. I have a question about this. Or what do you think about this? Or like, draw in your audience, make sure you're actively listening, make sure you're touching base with the students. And I'll kind of chime in there too, so that we can all kind of have some discussions and really foster some of those key points. But I want to make sure that you're adding to the discussion when you're doing those posts, when you're interacting with your peers. The critical reflections, there's going to be a very good instruction video in the, I think that's in the project folder too, but I think I also might have put it into the module 2 as well, where the first critical reflection is due. And Every 2 modules, you're going to do a small writing assignment, and that is essentially going to be 3 paragraphs long. And the first paragraph is going to be summarizing part of the reading or summarizing a key concept. And then you're really going to go into how that applies to some kind of current event, and then how that applies to your future job or an interaction you have with people, or what you're going to take away. So really, these are just, I want to focus on making sure that the information you get, you can apply to your world, you can apply to the things around you, and to make sure that we're kind of getting something out of this past. Hey, I can regurgitate some terminology. I want to make sure that we're understanding that this is part of our world, and that we want to facilitate really critical, meaningful conversations surrounding the topic. So as you look through the reading assignments, the reading and assignment schedule on here, it'll be broken down into modules. It'll have all your dates that you need to know, any of your drop dates, any of your midterm dates, any of your like no class dates, that kind of stuff will be in there. Then you're going to go into the readings. Anytime you see SOS, that's the Sociology of Sexualities textbook again. And then anytime you see BB, that's going to be a Blackboard link. You're going to notice that there's going to be several optional poems that are thrown in there. I don't like to just have one kind of text or one kind of information source, because I think that we all kind of learn and grow differently. And so I also put poems in there that are optional, because I want you guys to have the ability to kind of work through different types of literary understandings of the topics. The steps that have to complete the module each week are going to give you your due dates for everything that's due. They're going to give you everything you need to do in that module. Some modules are going to look more intensive than others. I did go ahead and make the actual project due in module 8, but the majority of it will be done by module 7, so that you don't have this super bunch of things due in module 8 like possibly you will in other classes. So I want to make sure that I try to kind of gear you towards finishing that project more quickly than like that finals week, so that when you get to finals week, you don't necessarily have as much on your plate. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I am always available. I know that a couple of you have taken me before for the Sociology of Gender course, and that final project will be similar to that, but I took some notes from some of the feedback from you all in that class, and kind of revamped a little bit of the due dates and kind of how they're operating, as well as changed up the discussion boards a little bit. I want this to be an exciting and interesting and intriguing course for you guys. So if there's something that you guys are finding very, very interesting, or a topic that we keep touching base on that everybody seems to really want to dig into, I have no problem kind of digging into that more, or maybe modifying a little bit how much time we spend on one topic and versus another. There is a chapter where I cut out the sports part of it. It's, I think, one of only 2 parts of the book that I cut out a bit of. If there is a large interest in covering the sports, I have no problem with doing a lecture on that as well, and kind of touching base with that as well. That's just the only part of the section that I really felt like we absolutely could cut, because we can't cut things like media or education or things of that nature. And not everybody is interested in sport. However, if we have a class that has a lot of people that are interested in that, that's a topic we can completely explore, and I want to do that. So we just have such a limited amount of time and so much things that we could talk about. Again, if anything comes up in the semester, I can't accommodate what I do not know exists. So please, please, please touch base with me. If you've had me before, or even if you haven't and you know somebody that has, I'm fairly good about working with anybody who has anything going on, because I want you guys to succeed. My job is to help guide you towards success, not here to, I don't like the idea of this professor role as this ultimate like make or break authority figure. I want to guide. I want to learn as we go. I learn something from you guys every time I teach a class like this, because there are so many new perspectives. There are so many new understandings of the world around us, and that I just, nobody has all of them. And I want to make sure that we're having a great and purposeful class. So again, if you all need anything, you know where to find me. And I wish you all the best. I will see you again soon. Bye, everybody.